Hello, Nomad Sculpt, and this is a just for fun video. Let's recreate this cute submarine. So I use a reference from Valentin Winkelmann. He created this submarine, so let's sculpt it. So it looks like this, and yeah, let's start. So I create a new scene and delete the sphere. So first I place here the reference image. So like this. And now I place it somewhere here. So it's fine. Okay. So I start with a lace object. So I draw only a straight path here. And now we are in the front view. I activate the gizmo and I move it to the origin. So the object is centered, and I use here the snap option for the rotation, and I bring it in this direction. So now it's aligned to the views, so in the right direction. So now I can edit the curve. So I use now the bottom view, so to see here the line better. So now let's sculpt the main body. Here you can give your object your own design. You want, it's only yeah, it's like a dummy. So maybe like this. So let's see the wireframe. Yeah, it's okay. I think we can use it. So let's see the symmetry. I validate this object and I check the symmetry. So the local one, and I mirror it. So I use version 1.85. So it's a little bit different, but yeah, the mirror option is the same. So now I mirror the object, so left side, right side is everything correct. So this object I rename as body. It's like an egg. So the next thing is I clone this and hide one, and I bring it in position. So I use here the trim tool, or now the split tool, and here is hole filling is off. So it's a little bit different in version 1.84. So but hole filling is off, and I split now the object. So this is the dome. So and I turn the outline on. So the next thing is we need here on the we need here the rings, here 3 rings, and this is a dome here, ring, first ring. So let's start with splitting. So maybe auto validate off. So I place here the splitting option and split it. Sorry. So it's split it here. Maybe here the next split. And here. So we have these rings. Then for the here, this is the dome. And now I split the dome. And I create a new one and make it a little bit smaller like this. And the top of the dome. So the dome I select and I add a group. Dome. Okay. So the next thing is I select the rings here. Ring 1, ring 2, ring 3, and I add a group. Rings. I think this one we can delete. So these are our rings, and I select all the rings and I join it. So now I select this one here, and the pivot I bring to the center, and I pin this pivot. So the next thing is here I select the rings and use the symmetry. So I display here the no, I do it a different way. So here the pivot is now pinned, so I add a mirror at this position. So now I can choose the plane for the mirror, and now the rings are in a correct position. Okay, this is for later. So now we need the main body, and I clone it, and we can draw it this way. So this is the wood or the planks. So I use the solo view at the bottom, and I go in the front view. So symmetry is on the X plane, trim, and hole filling is off. So I start a trim with the line tool. So this is the wrong direction. I flip it. So maybe like this. So there's a rotation snap at the moment. So I clear the whole thing activate the gizmo and, sorry, not the gizmo, the trim. Here I bring it to 0 degrees here, the rotation. So now I display the symmetry and I place here the trimming for the planks, maybe like this. So, and I mirror it now from right to left. So I get this here and now we use a rectangular trim. So where's the cupola or the, I think it's somewhere here. So this is our plank. So we can try 2 different ways. So let's try it with a mask and give it a shell thickness. So we need no smoothing, extract it. So it's a little bit too big. Yeah, maybe like this. So I select now the body. Here we have our gizmo. So, and I add here a radial repeater. So I put the body out of the radial repeater, and the radial repeater I put in front of the hierarchy. And now I put the plank inside the radial repeater. So now it's possible. So this is the not extracted plank. So yeah, I create a group and I rename it as old or base old. So I put all the meshes in this folder, maybe for later. So we need this plank and put it in the radial repeater. And the radial repeater, we can now change the value. So maybe like this. So I don't like it. So at the moment it's not correct. So I select this one here and maybe we change 1 division more, 20, 33, 33, 33. So I select this one here and I use the trim function again and now Boolean. So I choose the line and I show the symmetry center here. Maybe I trim it like this here. So let's see if it's better. It's not correct. Maybe more like this. It's too much. So this is better. Not perfect, but okay. Okay, so it's okay. So maybe I select the rings now. Oh, sorry. And I use the gizmo and I scale it a little bit, that they align with a new outline. And now I can mask this object and use a shell extraction. So not so big. A little bit more. Yeah, they look fine. I think it's okay. So the mirror node here, I create a clone. So here you see it, the center point. Oh, sorry. And I bring it outside. So the next thing is here, where's my dome? So this is a dome. Yeah, I think we have to, yeah. We have to scale the dome a little bit. Like this. And the planks, I think I validate them. Yes, or I select this one and I trim it. Hole filling is active. So we have to trim it here. So that the dome is in a correct position. So, and the next thing is I mirror this one on the green direction here, so that it's correct. So now this is a ring, this is a ring, and I think this is a ring. So we see now here the rings, we join it, ring. So we can use mask and extract the mask. So it's a little bit too big or too, this looks fine. Here's the solo view, it's okay. Yeah. So this is old mesh. I place it in the old folder or group node, and here where is my other dome? This one I need. Yes. So I'm in the top view now, and I mask now a part. Cell mask. So I think I mask this here, and now we can use also the shell extraction. The setting is okay, so but we don't need so much edge loops. So let's extract it, and so the next thing, I select this one and use again cell mask. So here I use the unmask tool, and we only need this one. So, and I extract it again. So it looks fine. So we can join these parts together, and so maybe, yeah, it's a little bit too, yeah, not correct here. So I think I trim it. So I rotate the view, and I use the trim option with the line tool. Maybe like this. So where's my symmetry? Local. Here. So I use the world symmetry and mirror it, so it looks like this here. Here we can clear the mask. So this object here, I clone here the radial repeater, and I put this inside the, the cloned radial repeater. And I changed the value of this radial repeater. So maybe only like this here. So I put this inside the dome folder or group node, and the planks here I put inside the body. And the rings I put also inside the body. So, and here I create a group node. So the next thing is, I think, for the dome, we can use on the other side here as well. So I create here I create on Gizmo a mirror node. So, and I mirror it from the center here to this side. So we only give it a other color at the end, and then it's fine. Okay, so what we do next, so I add a sphere. So, and this sphere I put out of this, of this group. And I decrease the poly count, and so I place it here. These are the fins. So I scale it a little bit, bring it here in position a little bit smaller, I think, something like this. So I change the pivot position, and I rotate it a little bit. Something like this here, and not so like this. And I think I can validate. So move tool, let's check the symmetry. It's okay, local. So, yeah. Maybe a little bit smaller. Something like this. I think it's nice. So I use multi-resolution, and I subdivide it one time to make it a little bit smoother. So something like this. So maybe I scale it a little bit in this direction, and we can trim it. So I use the polygon tool. Yeah, I trim it like this. And so it's okay, I think. So this is I call it fin. I don't know if it's correct. So yeah. So I clone this one and I hide the first. So I trim again. Okay. So now we need the planks. So I split the mesh and hole filling off. So first, yeah, I use the polygon tool and I trim it again with hole filling off. So I trim it here again. Maybe like this. And now I start to split. Split, split, split. So this meshes we don't need. So and the other ones we can select and join. So here in the solo view you see here the top is not splitted or not trimmed. So I use again the trim. So let's see. Yeah, I think it's okay. So in the back side, yeah, it could work. So I use the mask it. So only in the positive direction I extract it. So let's see in the complete view. So yeah, everything looks fine, I think. So this mesh here, so we can hide and place it in the old meshes. And here I add a group and call it fin. So okay. So I add now a plane and I use a gizmo, snapping, and rotate the plane here. And I place it here. So this is only to help to snap the tube profile. So I use tube tool, the path. I have to clear it. So, and now I use the profile. So something like this here. And we can change the division to 4. So I lock this one, and sorry, I lock the tube, and I turn the snapping now off. So I place it here. Maybe something like this, and for the Y division we can use a little bit a higher division. So okay, so the profile, maybe we can change it a little bit. Oh, this is wrong. I show in viewport. So this, maybe like this. Okay, I think it's okay. So tube is active. I create another path. Snapping off. So like this. So then we need a new path, and so I reset the profile. Maybe something like this. So the radius a little bit smaller. So snapping off. So we can use multiple radii. So then it looks like a little bit more uneven. So we can clone this object here, and now we edit the path again a little bit. something like this. I think we can validate this one and this one. So let's use another tube. Profile, snapping off. So let's see how it works. So make it a little bit smaller, like this. So I changed the divisions. Okay, so I clone it, clone it again. So now we can edit the path a little bit if we want. So I think I rotated the profile node. Okay, I think it's okay. And this one, I validate it and trim it off. And this one, yeah, you have much more time, I think, for this. So this is a complete fin, and so we need here a radial repeater, so we can clone this one here and bring it to the top, and we can make out of the mirror repeater a radial repeater and put the fin inside the radial repeater, and now our fins are complete. So the next thing is, so it looks nice. The next thing is, I think, I rename it first. I create now, or I add a cylinder, and I put it out of this fins thing here, and I scale it. So this is the tower. Maybe like this. So let's see the wireframe. And here we can change also the topology here. For this, at the moment, we use a topology like this. And now we can validate this object, use the cell mask. So I mask the top. And now I can use the gizmo and scale it in this direction a little bit. And maybe like this. Or like this, like you want. I think a little bit more dynamic. So okay, so this is the tower. Tower putty. I clone this object, hide the first one, and now I trim. So I trim with a polygon tool. So this is the curve of the main body. So I trim here. So now I switch to the split tool and use the same curve. So I split here. Then I leave a gap, a small gap. So like this. Then we need a gap. And maybe like this. And a gap. So the gaps it's nice. So here's a top. Yeah, use also the split option. And this small thing here I trim away. So everything looks fine, I think. So maybe we try a little bit something. So I use the cell mask and the lasso tool. And I mask here the top. I have to select it. So now when we use the gizmo, we can give it a little bit other form. So we can do the same thing for the others. So maybe something like this. And the last one. So in this one I bring inside the other body of the submarine. So I invert the mask. So, and this is the last one. Cell mask. So I trim again a small part here away. So now it should work. So let's select the whole thing here, join it, mask it, and let's try the shell extraction. So yeah, edge loops and a little bit more. Yeah, it works. So this mesh here, this is again an old mesh, and so now we have our tower. Yeah. This is the tower, this is this one. So maybe let's try the easy way. I clone this one. Yeah. So let's use a boolean with hole filling. So yeah, you can spend more time on this, so it's okay, I think. And yeah, so now so for this here I change now the shading so that I can see it a little bit better. And now I place a tube path and I use snapping. So snapping is active. So now I turn the snapping option off. And I change to profile. So I show it in viewport. So a little bit bigger. So, and I use it like this here. So, and I add a mirror repeater. So So now I align the two parts, and here in the side view, so here snapping is off now at the moment, so I zoom in. So for this object here, I also deactivate the smooth shading. And let's see here the divisions. So we only need a division of 4. So here's something messed up, I think. So when we change here the divisions of the Y division, it works a little bit better. So it's okay for this, I think. So as I said, you can spend more time on it. The mirror repeater I turn off. I validate this object, and now I mirror it from the right side to the left side with a world option. So now I can reset object center orientation. Let's use the world orientation. So there are a lot of details, so I do only one detail. So here in the hierarchy, so this one, what do we have here? The tower. I add a group node and rename it as tower. So I use the insert tool here, and I place here only maybe a cylinder here on this surface. I turn the wireframe on and change the topology a little bit, and I use post subdivision. So maybe like this. So this is a nice shape here. And I put this cylinder out of the group node and I validate it. So I use now solo view, and so I trim. Boolean is active. I trim with a polygon tool. Something out of the mesh. So now we have a screw, and here we have our pivot. This is okay. And I select now the body, only the body, and I pin the pivot. So I go back to the small cylinder, and you see now the pivot is pinned to the center, and now I add on gizmo radial repeater. So now you see here our small screws are in position. So I can change now the count like you want. And now we can leave the pivot option here, so, and bring it back to the object center. So, and I can scale it now a little bit. I don't like it so big. Maybe like this. So this is a screw. And so you can do it with the other objects also. So I change now to transform tool here. And I use the instance. So I instance it here, and again for the other one. So we can mirror it or we can use instances. So we can put this out of the radial repeater, and we can clone the radial repeater. And change the value. So if you don't like so much screws, so something like this, and again for this. So let's turn the wireframe off, the outline option, post-process on, maybe a little bit ambient occlusion, curvature. Perspective view. So there are a lot of details here. So you can here create the door, and this one here, such a bullseye or something. This is up to you. So this is the basic workflow. So have fun with sculpting, and ciao.